I am Judge Peter Sakai, the County Judge of Bexar County. It's my honor and privilege to be here this morning. I stand together with County Clerk Lucy Adame Clark, Republican Chair Chris Coons. Our other election commission members are not available to be with us today. But today is March the 3rd, and the first day for the new day and our new Elections Administrator, Michele Carew. I'm here to introduce her and to have the public embrace her. I will let the public know that I, as the chair of the Elections Commission, we went through a very thorough process to find the best candidate available to serve as our Elections Administrator. I pause to give great respect and dignity to our past Elections Administrator, Jackie Callanan. She served with great distinction for nearly 20 years, and she ran elections very well. But we are in a new day with a new administrator. We're looking for innovation. We're looking for the use of technology. We're looking for engaged voter registration. We are looking for the integrity of voter elections. But at this time, I'd like to also let my election commission members also say a few words. I'll pause and allow our county clerk, Lucy Adame Clark, to address the public today.
Good morning, everyone. It's an exciting day in Bexar County. We have chosen a person with integrity, respect, and has faced many issues and took it on straight on. Michele Carew had the qualifications, what we needed in Bexar County. Bexar County is the 4th largest county in the state of Texas, but it's a small community, and we want to make sure that we had somebody who understood small communities as well. We are looking to move forward as Harris County has done in several elections. My colleague, who is a county clerk in Harris County, is the elections chief, and I see this in Michele Carew. Michele Carew will take us into a whole different era to make sure that we move forward despite party. It was an honor and a pleasure to serve with the Democratic chair and the Republican chair and become a 5 vote for Michele Carew. Michele Carew is here to move forward and prove to you all that she will bring the best elections administrator to Bexar County. So Michele, congratulations, and I look forward to the partnership with the county clerk's office.
Yes.
I'd like to also bring up our Republican chair, Ms. Chris Coons.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Judge. Good morning, everyone. It is an honor to be here. My name is Chris Coons, and I am the chair of the Republican Party of Bexar County. We are very happy to play a role in this instrumental position in San Antonio. As our wonderful clerk just said, this is the 2nd largest city in the state. Obviously the 4th largest county. Now, I might not agree that Harris County is our ultimate resource of fair elections, but I will tell you that I know that with this newly appointed elections administrator, that we'll have fair and honest elections, and we look forward of working with her to make sure that happens. So congratulations, Madam Administrator. We're very happy that you're here.
So without further ado, may I introduce Michele Carew.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you very much. I do appreciate everyone being here today. I know that this is a really exciting time, not just for me personally, but for the entire county of Bexar. I look forward to working with all of you and open it up for questions.
Where does your office stand on voter registration? That's been in the news a lot.
Correct. Voter registration is one of our #1 outlooks that we're going to be addressing today. I understand that there has been some press on it. I have not had a chance to meet with my team to be brought up to that topic, but I'd be more than happy to circle back around with you once I have.
Jackie Callanan said that she's been knee-deep in Mayfield election preparations for the last several months. How is that handoff going? Have you been able to be debriefed by Jackie of what she's done already, or are you jumping in, trying to learn everything as you go along?
I was able to meet with Jackie about a week ago to get some insight on the May election. There's still quite a bit that needs to be done in order to be successful, but I have met with some of my staff already will be meeting this morning to highlight some of their needs, to assess what needs to happen to have a very successful May election. As of, in regards to speaking with Jackie, I know that should I have any questions or need guidance, she's just a phone call away.
What does that handoff look like? I mean, of course, Jackie Callanan held that position for 20 years. What's sort of the differences you're noticing on her approach versus yours, and what's sort of that transition looking like for you?
Well, like I said, we did meet about a week ago. There was some information given to me about the May election. I know that the contracts have been looked at and executed. I know ballots are currently in the process of being drawn up. We will be talking about that, like I said, with the staff. Unfortunately, I haven't had a lot of time this morning to get updates from them since it's been a week, but I should definitely have some updated information for you by end of day.
So I'd like to congratulate you.
Thank
I
you.
love seeing that there's still a woman in this position, so y'all did really great. My name is Yvette Teo. I am the publisher for La Prensa, Texas. We are the oldest bilingual newspaper in the United States. So I've got one question, and it's a lot of questions in one.
Okay.
And I know that that you're just coming in, and I really don't want to feel like I'm overwhelming you.
Sure.
I'm going to ask you anyway. Okay. So what comprehensive strategies do you plan to implement to assist the elderly, Latinos, and low-income individuals in accessing essential resources, including mail-in ballots, particularly for those facing transportation and health challenges?
That's a great question. I appreciate to answer that for you. So as of right now, just off the cuff, I'd like to say that my main focus is to ensure that those who want to vote are able to vote. So working with the team in the county and everyone that's in place, we have already started working on strategies to help not only open additional polling locations, but if there is a transportation need, possibly working with stakeholders to offer transportation. That's just something that could happen. And if all things go well, we'll make sure that it's in place for the May election.
Okay, what about updating the website and the print materials in Spanish and in English?
Yes, that is also at the top of my list. This morning when I meet with our staff, we'll be discussing the website, and then we'll go straight into talking about the importance of the May election to make sure that everything is in place.
Good. And then just one more, and then I'll get out of your
Sure.
show, I promise. We are very eager to support you and get that information out there. We are a free publication, and we do serve the underserved in our community. And I think it's very important that we do bring change. And I know you said that you guys have different strategies. Is there anything that you care to share with us that might be a little bit different? Because obviously if we keep doing the same thing, we're going to keep getting the same results. Right?
Correct. So just to talk about some of the ideas that I have, there are different softwares that are available out there that help provide information to the public, whether it be at local gathering points, churches, different places. It'll give a quick QR code for them to apply to work and also to communicate with our office. So there's just a couple of things right there off the top that should increase the communication between my office and of course anybody that is interested in the election world. But there's several softwares out there, several programs that we're looking into that I would like to bring forward to help encourage that.
And I think it's great, but let me ask this. What about the digital divide? There's a lot of people that don't have access to internet, and they don't have access to cell phones. So what are we doing with that? I mean, I know it's very difficult, and I know that you're walking in this way, and it's been 20 years. So
Sure.
I certainly don't want to come across that way, but I just feel that those are things that have to be addressed, and I don't know if we're talking about them yet enough. On my site, I don't see it. And I'm just talking about the media side of it,
Sure.
right? And who I serve and the people that I talk to.
So what we'll do is we'll put together a list of the needs for the voters and those who are interested. We'll prioritize them, and then we'll attack each one until we get them all taken care of.
How do we get to them? How are we?
Well, I believe our first step will be with our deputy volunteer registrars and also the stakeholders that are out there who work within the community and with the county. So just having a meeting with them and talking about what's important for everyone.
Are we hiring more Spanish speakers? Because I know that's one of the things that we have a lot of people that only speak Spanish. And I know that you're not from here, so that's kind of why
No, that's okay.
I don't know what you know. Or
No,
what you don't know,
I'm
so-
familiar with the Texas Election Code, and it does talk about having translators in the polling location. So what I'll have to do is meet with my team, find out where those gaps are, get with other departments and other organizations throughout the county, find where they are, and find people to come work with us.
Because you're coming from something
Sure.
two different worlds, right?
Yes.
Because we've got 300 sites here, and I think you guys have a lot less.
A lot less, but it's all the same ballgame.
It definitely is. I just think that you have a lot of work ahead of you.
Yes, ma'am.
And I am really, really pulling for you because we really do need the change. And I hope that you can bring it. I really do because I don't envy you. How about that? I mean, I think voting is very important, but
Of course.
I know that we've got to do something. As far as the voting polls are concerned, what is it, 15%? Right? We need to make some changes.
We definitely have a list of priorities, and that's on the top.
2 months,
Yes,
yeah.
we have about 5 or 6 really high priority items that we'll be working on like this week and next week.
What are those priorities?
Yeah.
Well, our priorities were going to be voter outreach. We're going to be talking more about accessibility for our disabled voters. We're going to be talking about opening additional poll sites. We also will be talking about communication between our office and the community. Another thing that we'll be working on will be the website, of course, was at the very top of the list. We want to make sure that our voters are able to go to one place and not have to search real, hard and deep for that information. And also just looking at the office. Another priority I have is looking at the office, seeing where everyone is, what they need done, and making sure that everyone that is here has what they need to be successful.
What challenges do you anticipate going from Hood County to Bexar County, which is obviously a much bigger county?
Well, I mean, in all honesty, just size. Elections is just like whether it's a very small county or very large, there's the same steps are in place. What's most important is that everything is taken care of and that we're covering it and that we're within the law. So my challenge will be honestly finding more election workers and anyone that's bilingual. Those are the main challenges right now that I see.
I know one of the largest priorities across the country and the state, of course, is a safe and secure election. And of course, there are many criticisms happening with everybody in terms of how to make that happen. How do you plan to approach that? And I know a little bit about your background in Hood County. Are you concerned that something similar could happen here in Bexar?
Honestly, I don't have any concerns about that.
Let me address that.
Sure.
Let me just answer some of the questions that have been asked. Obviously, this is Michelle's first day. She's been in that transition to move and get her family and get everything together. So I hope that the public will be patient to understand she has to immediately get this May election going and making sure it's safe and secure. Let me let the public know that as the county judge, my office has been very involved with the elections office. And during Ms. Callan's time, we have provided additional support. We have supported the voting advocacy groups, the Youth Do Vote, Heather Eichling. She has brought young people into our elections process. The law allows people as young as 16 years of age to participate, and they are actively engaged. 2, we've heard the issues about polling sites and access. My office has worked with the elections office to make sure that we got enough polling sites in our last general election. I will note it's the first general election in I believe 2 cycles that the county was not sued. 2, we worked with the deaf community. Kay Chiodo is the leading advocate for that community, and we in fact enabled our elections office to expand the access to voting, especially those that are disabled, to the polling sites. And we created training, we created video mobile sites so that certain sites could actually help the deaf community. So I want to assure the public that as Michele assesses, investigates, and then comes up with the recommendations, I'm sure she will have budget requests. Also, 2, I'm also very concerned from the last question about the security, not only of the voting process, but just the physical plant here and the polling sites. We are constantly vigilant to make sure that our elections administrator, her staff, the voting judges, people that are totally involved are safe. And so I'm asking Michele also to do a thorough assessment of the campus here, elections administration, to make sure, because I know Ms. Jackie Callan did bring to our attention during my 2 years as county judge that there were incidences of breaches of security here at the elections office. Finally, I have encouraged Michele, and part of the commitment in her hire was that she was going to do an intentional outreach to the community. I believe she is going to outreach with the party chairs. She will outreach to all the commission members. She will outreach to the county commissioners. She will outreach to all those that are necessary to give her the input as to what's necessary. So although Ms. Carew may not have some very specific issues or specific answers to your questions, I am very confident that she has gotten her marching orders. One of the things that was very evident from her experience in Hood County was that her letter of recommendation from the county judge of that county was glowing. And it highlighted her work ethic, it highlighted her integrity, and it highlighted her willingness to embrace change. Those are the things we want for our elections administrator. So let me pass back for further questions or any commission members who wish to speak.
I want to bring to you, when we look at Hood County is a smaller county. The reason we looked at Ms. Michele, because the county clerks in the largest counties, we have staff that understand the statutes that are in place. The reason we chose her as well too was because she knows election code directly. Smaller counties have hands-on in the grain of everything, and they have to know everything. A bigger county, of course, we know the codes, or we know the elections responsibilities, or we know our statutes, but they're hands-on, because I have county colleagues who I applaud, who are smaller counties, because they're in the trenches. I'm in the trenches, but they're more in the trenches. And not only that, the county clerk has responsibilities to adding voter registration cards to our marriage license package. So that's my responsibility. We've always made sure that we support the elections administrator, even previously before her, to make sure that our constituents get their voter registration cards. Even in probate, we're responsible to notifying the election administrator when somebody has passed away. So the county clerk has a small portion of responsibilities to support the election administrator. So that's why it's very important and imperative as the vice chair to make sure I support the county judge, the chairman, but also the parties, the Republican, Democrat, but the new election administrator. So, Michele.
Thank you. Very well said, Madam Clerk. You guys, the biggest thing for the Republican Party of Bexar County is fair and honest elections. And we know with this transition of our new administrator, that's what I will be looking for specifically. We just want to make sure that we partner with her in every way that we can to make sure that happens. And I think with her background, as was just said, of knowing every single department, employee management, operations, technical, her background is very seasoned in that. It really is. So we're looking forward to helping her in any way that we can.
Judge, can you take a question about voter registration?
Sure.
Looks like the state legislature is getting ready to make a crackdown on voter registration.
Okay.
Limited it to political parties and politicians themselves. How do you feel about that as a county executive?
Well, in this last election cycle, in the general election, our current Attorney General challenged Bexar County on the voter registration efforts that the county was making at that time. It resulted in a lawsuit being filed against Bexar County. I appeared in court at that lawsuit in opposition because the county was trying to engage and encourage increased voter registration, especially for those that were recently moved into Bexar County who might not have had an opportunity in light, as we saw, a very important general election of national magnitude, our presidential race. And so it wasn't a matter of partisanship of who was trying to help which political party. It was a matter of people engaging in the right to vote. As a former jurist, a judge of 26 years, the right to vote is one of the most sacred constitutional rights. I took an oath to protect and defend the United States Constitution and the Texas Constitution. And I will be willing to defend the county on any attempts to what I believe suppresses voter registration.
Do you know how successful that voter registration campaign was? Like, how many of of the voter registration forms that got sent out were actually filled out ahead of the?
We have asked for that report, and we've yet to get that report, and when it is, I expect a public presentation at Commissioner's Court.
Judge, were there any internal candidates that had applied for Ms. Jackie Callanan's position, and why did Ms. Michele stand out?
Well, the first answer to your first question is yes, we did. In fact, the commission was very intentional to make sure that internal candidates were looked at. There were several among the 200 candidates, I believe, that were reviewed. We also had a national search firm that was screening the applicants. And so we in fact, I believe, and the commission members can verify this, but because of the interview process with some of the internal candidates, we got some very valuable information as to what are the needs of our current elections administration office. And they were qualified candidates, they were candid candidates, they were hardworking workers, and as of today, they're still part of Michele's team. They're still working to ensure elections that have integrity and are well run and efficiently run, and will have open access. And obviously, Michele will have to get that input as she prepares for the May election. She will also have to try to increase and deal with all those issues that were raised during the interview process. So I hope that answers your question.
I'm sorry, will there be a public forum for the public to get to meet her, know her, and ask some questions?
I believe that's part of the instructions to Michele, but since she's the elections administrator, I expect her to follow through on my instructions.
Judge, I believe Jackie said the average age of our election worker is 72, is that correct?
I believe the majority of election workers under Ms. Callanan's office have been the seniors, which have served the county well, and I believe a lot of them are former military vets, so they come with strong credentials. But as you would know, because of that average age, it is problematic to fill all the positions necessary to run full elections. And I understand that's one of the reasons why the number of polling sites was problematic. We did not have, so I'm looking at Michele from a new perspective of let's engage the youth. Let's engage people that might not know that they can volunteer. And I believe, Michele, I don't want to misquote law, you know the law, but they can get paid at the same time.
Absolutely.
And so those are things that we want the public to know. We want active voter registration. We want active voter participation. We want the vote to turn out. Not to presume any predictive outcome. No, people need to vote. And I'm going to do my very best as county judge to protect their right to vote.
Do you have any specific plans on how to engage the youth into working elections? I worked the presidential.
Well, let Mr. Beck.
I worked the presidential election, and I was introduced actually by Heather Eichling to working the election as a student, and we're just curious about what plans you have to engage the youth, specifically high school and college students, and ways you plan on maybe helping them to work elections and stuff like that.
Yes, so I actually have a meeting with Heather later this week. We're going to touch on that and also find ways to reach out to the youth. I know how important it is. A lot of the youth don't understand that they can come in, and it's a great process to learn. You know, so we have a plan in place to work with Heather to get out. Like I said, there's several ways to get that information out to the youth, and we'll be implementing that just as soon as we can.
Why is it so lit to be an election worker?
Well, for me, I love elections, and I've loved that you asked that because, you know, I haven't been in the picture for a couple of years, but I was always there. And so knowing that the chance was open again to come in, I was super excited, although maybe a little intimidated by the size, but I'm not scared. A lot of things about elections coming in, I wish I'd known when I was younger that I could have worked elections, because once I came in, I was sold. And it was hard to walk away. But I'm glad to be here. I'm excited to bring new ideas to the election office and open up new places, bring in the youth, work with those who really have a voice. I want to hear what they have to say, and I want to be able to do everything that I can to make that possible.
What's your relationship with the state? And what's your relationship with the state?
I have a really great relationship with the Secretary of State's office. When I was an elections administrator a few years back, I was on several committees that they had in place, and including, but not limited to, legislation. So the role that I play with them is bouncing ideas off of them and going to them should I need for advice.
Michelle, are you
ran as a conservative Republican for Cook County Clerk. How are you going to square that with being the elections administrator for a county that regularly is D plus 15 or more?
Well, I was not an elections administrator at the time that I ran for that position. My belief is when you leave this door, leave this building, you can be a Republican, you can be Democrat. When you're inside here, you're nonpartisan. So as an elections administrator, it's my position to be nonpartisan, and I will not have any type of politics within the building.
Speaking of young people, a couple of people came before the Commissioner's Court. You may correct my terminology, but they're like certified or identified independent voter registrars, a lot of them college students. Are you willing to work with those folks when it comes to registering voters?
Absolutely. So it's called a deputy volunteer registrar. Anyone in Texas who's registered to vote can go and collect applications throughout the state as long as they have their certification from each individual county. So with that being said, yes, I look forward to working with them and making sure that I provide them with what they need to be successful.
Michelle, are you ready for the challenge of elections being during Fiesta this year?
Yes. So I have met with a couple of people within the office. I know that is a big deal here in San Antonio. So we'll be working with not
Yes,
only
it is.
within our office, but with the people that work in those precincts. So I know that there's several other entities throughout the county who'll be willing to help us, like the Sheriff's Office and emergency management, things along those lines. So we'll work together and we'll put together a plan to make sure that we're able to get their votes in.
Any idea of turnout for that election with Fiesta? I know it's crystal ball.
Yeah, I honestly have not had opportunity to go look at the past elections just yet. I've only been here an hour, but should you like to readdress it, I'll be more than happy to meet with you at a later time.
What of your experience makes you the best candidate for this job?
Well, I feel that just the fact that I have more than 14 years worth of experience working Texas elections. I've had over 100 elections under my own belt, although small county, but still the same game. My years of experience in elections range from being just a clerk in an office to becoming the elections administrator. And then after that, I spent some time working in the tech side for software companies. So I feel that my experience, not only in election administration, but knowing what's out there to help make the job easier, makes me a prime candidate. Yes, sir.
And once again, your overall feelings of being selected for the position?
I am beyond excited. I know that I told the judge that I think I gasped for about 2 straight days before I took a breath, but the excitement is there. I'm looking so forward to working with my team, with the Election Commission, and of course anyone else within the county who would like to come in and speak. My doors are open, and should there be any additional needs, I'm here.
Did Jackie give you any advice on the way out?
She did, she gave me a tour of the building. She told me about some of the obstacles that she's had. And advice-wise, I think she just said good luck.
I know there was a bipartisan effort to call the removal of Ms. Jackie Callanan. Have you met with the parties that were critical of the way she ran elections?
I honestly have not met with anyone other than the Election Commission. I know that during the interview process, I was given everyone's top wants and needs, and I plan to give them each individual attention.
Let me address that question. Yes, there were groups and individuals that asked that Jackie move on. I want to make it clear that Miss Jackie Callanan left on her terms. She is retired. She is available, perhaps if need be, depending on Ms. Carew's wishes and direction. We want to make sure that we will have elections held with integrity, but at the same time, we have multi-facets of that. We have to make sure of voter registration, voter participation. Yes, and I'll be real blunt. This party loves this town loves to party, so I don't know at all what the voter participation will be during Fiesta, especially on the day of Battle of Flowers. I don't want to be the one making that bet. So I just want to let the public know that we hired the best qualified candidate of nearly 200 candidates. We did a thorough vetting. We looked internally. We are pleased with what is the structure that Ms. Callanan has left, but I believe as the questioning and what Ms. Carew has brought out today, there's still a lot of work to do. And also too, as you heard from our county clerk, Ms. Adama Clark, she by statute is responsible for the voter election process in order to help that, along with our tax assessor, Mr. Aubrey Duresti, who is not able to be here. Both those elected officials are by statute able to help and participate. So I have no doubt whatsoever, along with the Commissioners Court, my 4 county commissioners who are going to give direct input to Ms. Carew, along with the party chairs who will represent their interest. Obviously, in light of our current partisan world, they will probably be very different views as to what those opinions are. And it'll be up to Michele Carew to kind of parse that in the most nonpartisan way. So I hope the public understands how difficult this job is and how tough this job is, not only for her, but for all the employees. And I'll close with the fact I want to protect them. I want them to feel that as county judge, I will do my best to make sure they're protected at all costs.
My name is Michele Carew. I'm the Elections Administrator for Bexar County, Texas.
What's it like to be able to finally say, what's it like to be able to say that?
It's been like a dream come true, to tell you the truth. You know, I am 100% from Texas, born and raised in a really small town, worked in several small counties, but just the fact that I was able to come here to Bexar County to represent not just Texas in general, but the voters here in Bexar County.
I'll get this out of the way. Bexar County holds a special place to you. Why is that?
Bexar County means a lot to me for a lot of different reasons. I have family and friends that live here. I was married here on the Riverwalk at Marriage Island, so it's like making a complete circle.
You mentioned the bullet points at the top that you are going to focus on at the beginning. Can you just give us a brief synopsis of those?
Sure. There's a lot of things that we're currently, number one is having a fair election come May 3rd. We want to be prepared. We want to make sure that all the polling locations are open and with plenty of people to work, right? We want to make sure that the voters have everything they need and that we get through it like the rising stars that I know our team is.
My last question, are you prepared for the attention that will be everybody here knew Jackie and like knew her name off the top of their head. Are you prepared for that kind of attention?
I feel that I am. I mean, I have been through a few things in my professional life, and I feel that it worked me up to be prepared for this.
That's all I got.
Yeah.
When you think of Jackie, I mean, I think she's obviously held the position for 20 years. I know you've only been on the job for a little bit, and I did ask you this question earlier, but what differences have you noticed about the elections office that you would like to potentially change?
Well, I think that new technology is at the top of the list. Of course, the website is something major that we'll be working on and addressing. I know that I've had people send me screenshots from their cell phones and it's not cell phone friendly. So we'll definitely work on that. We'll work on just several things in general, bringing in technology, making sure that the workers have everything they need. And I had about 6 different things, so if you'll bear with me just a second. I know that we want to do a lot of voter outreach. We want to definitely work with voters with disabilities and also directly with Secretary of State's office to ensure that everything is fair and within the Texas election code.
You mentioned that when you were getting advice from Jackie that she was describing some of the obstacles she's faced over the past 2 decades at the elections office. What were some of the troubles that she was warning you about?
A lot of them are most recent, right, with the attacks that have been on elections administrators and security. So it was not like a long laundry list of things. It was just like, this is what's happened, this is what we need to address, and this is what the court knows about.
I know your experience at Hood County probably didn't end in the way that you had hoped. Are you nervous about what the reaction in Bexar County could be, or to have a similar experience in Bexar County, or no?
I think, honestly, I feel that Bexar County is totally different from Hood County. So my resignation at Hood County, to me, it was a very tough decision to make. So when I left, I still had the support of the Commissioner's Court, the Election Commission, and all of the judges and clerks. So I feel that although I left, maybe when I didn't want to, I still left with a lot of backing from the local stakeholders here in Hood County.
Did you miss it in the period that you had left?
Yes, I did. But, I actually went from there to a job in the tech field, working for a tech company out of Austin. So I was still able to be involved with all my colleagues and see them and participate and stay abreast on election code.
What kind of tech company was that?
The first tech company I worked at was a document management company, and the second one I worked at is for poll worker management.
You gave a little story about your interaction with Jackie. She shows you around. And then the last thing, good luck. Can you reiterate that, please?
Sure. So I came in a week ago Friday and met with Jackie. She was gracious enough to take me around, show me everything, the footprint of the building, introduce me to the staff that was here, and then we just had a sit down. You know, she did talk to me about some of her, like I said, the obstacles that she faced with security and like any other office, running out of space and things along those lines. But it was a really positive interaction. I have nothing but mad respect for Jackie. I met her when I was just a deputy clerk in Parker County, and watching her and seeing the things that she went through, and also other elections administrators just like her, it encouraged me to want to be just like them.
Election administrators, of course, across the country and the state are sort of being watched by a magnifying glass these days, especially when it comes to a safe and secure election. What's the biggest thing you want voters to know?
Well, I want voters to know that as their elections administrator, I will always follow the letter of the law. I understand there are people that have their interpretation of the law and how it should be, but I will always follow Secretary of State's guidance. I will look to them should there be question on things and follow anything that they give to me. So as far as Michele Carew, elections administrator, goes, is I stand by the law and for them.
I know Judge Sakai mentioned, of course, the lawsuit that we had filed by Attorney General Ken Paxton when the county took some, I guess, new approaches to get voters to register. Would you shy away from approaches like that? Is that something that you'd be interested in doing, even knowing what the state's reaction is?
I'm always interested in helping anyone who wants to vote to register. So depending on what the actual situation may be, I am open to it. I'm not open probably to every single idea that's out there, but I'm definitely open to making it easier for people to register to vote and to actually come in and vote in person.
When you talk about updating the website and kind of coming into the 21st century with the elections department, what do those steps look like? What is the first step in updating the website and reaching more people?
So what I plan to do today is meet with the leadership here in the office. We will go and we'll talk about, I have plenty of guidelines of changes that need to be made and should be made. So we'll work together and then we'll meet with our tech team to implement that. It's my understanding that there's currently 2 websites out there where our goal is to combine everything, make it into one to where it's user friendly and what's best for everyone in Bexar County.
Do you feel any pressure given the fact that the May election is just around the corner?
I do not. To tell you the truth, when I went into Hood County, I got there 45 days before early voting started. And so I jumped in and I was up and running. That's basically been my entire life. I don't shy away from a challenge, and I see that this is a really great opportunity to make some positive changes before the May election.